When did your something is very wrong here gut instinct turn out to be right? My friend asked me if I wanted to go out to the woods with him and explore abandoned places. He even specifically mentioned that he'll bring a firearm to keep us safe. My alarm bells were fucking ringing. I asked him a couple questions, I don't know what, but concluded it was sketchy as fuck. My gut told me not to go, so I exited from the conversation while he went asking others the same question. Fast forward a couple years, I heard that he was in prison. I was stunned, but remembered the memory when he asked me if I wanted to go into the woods. Turns out he took a freshman, him being senior at the time, and kept his promise of looking for abandoned places. He found a cabin in the woods, brought his friend inside, and as soon as his friend turned his back, bam, knocked dead. He shot him in the back of the head. I reminisce on this quite often and think what if I had agreed. Every time I think of this, I'm very grateful I'm alive. I was walking home and a woman approached me to ask for directions. I told her how to get where she wanted to go, but she didn't walk that way, but instead walked beside me and kept pace with me. This made me incredibly uncomfortable, so I said, "Have a nice day," and doubled my speed, not running, but outpacing her significantly. A moment later, I heard running footsteps. I must have instinctively gripped my purse strap because I held on to it as she ran and tried to snatch it. We ended up tussling for a moment. I shouted very loudly, "Help, she's stealing my purse." Neighbors came outside, causing her to walk away. She did not get my purse. Driving with a friend of mine through a pretty remote forest road. A couple of guys in the middle of nowhere tried flagging us down. I almost stopped for them before an alarm went off in my head and I stepped on the gas. My friend started saying, "What the fuck?" And at the same time there was a shot and a bullet hit the back of the car. We made it to a police station. Turns out there had been a bunch of people and vehicles going missing in the area that same week. Laid eyes on my sister's then boyfriend and instantly hated him. I then noticed one of our dogs acted out of character around him, which made me hate him even more. We found out a year later that the boyfriend had been beating her regularly. Freshman year of college. A friend and I were driving across town and he stopped for gas. It wasn't a dangerous part of town or anything, just a quiet gas station with an old Buick out front. But this feeling came over me that we needed to get out of there. I tried to shake this feeling by making a joke. "This feels like somewhere an ex-murderer would hide out." My friend immediately gunned it out there without filling up. He said he had the same feeling and me bringing it up scared the shit out of them. On the way home there were about 20 police cars outside. It turns out some guy shot 2 people in a carjacking and robbery. The Buick was a car he stole. I had a bad feeling about my aunt's boyfriend. Told my mom he seemed creepy and I didn't want to stay the night there anymore. I got a bit of a lecture for calling him creepy, but she made sure I was never around him alone. And good thing. He turned out to be a child molester who is currently in jail for his involvement in a kiddie porn ring. I stopped off at a dollar store to get last minute stuff for my niece's birthday party, foil or napkins or something. I went to the one I have never been to, in a seedy part of town. There weren't many other people there, since it was a Sunday afternoon. A luxury car pulls up and this gorgeous man gets out and starts trying to catch my eye, like he wanted to ask directions. Dream come true, right? Except my gut started screaming "run" for no reason. I pretended I didn't see him and got in my car and left. The next morning I see on the news that 3 people were murdered in Charleston. They were all connected to one dude. One of their cars was stolen, and the serial killer was on the loose heading west, through my area. Guess who the suspect was? Yep, the dude I've seen. They arrested him after he kidnapped the girl in Augusta the same night I saw him, and she managed to escape. Still gives me goosebumps. What if I'd stopped and talked to him? In high school I came home early one Friday evening to find that my house just felt off. It's so hard to describe, but the feeling I got walking into my living room just immediately had me on alert and didn't feel right. I walked into the kitchen to find a half-eaten burger from McDonald's, which I found strange. Called out to my parents, got no response. Called them on their cell, got no answer. 30 minutes later, my brother called to tell me that my dad had an heart attack and to get to the hospital. Thankfully, it turned out okay, but my gut quite literally knew something bad had happened the moment I stepped in the front door. I've always been prone to gut feelings, but my mom takes the cake. She went to a boarding school and ended up leaving her senior year, but her two best friends still went there. They all lived in similar areas for summer, and my mom wanted to go back and see everyone towards the end of summer break, when she was 17. All three girls, including my mom, were going to take a train to a nearby station and meet up there and take a taxi to the school. My mom got to our home train station and got hysterical, which she never does, and told her mom she has a horrible feeling and doesn't want to go. Her mom told her to absolutely not go and they went home. Later on that night, they got a call that the two girls who went were in a car accident with a drunk taxi driver on the way to the school. My mom's most best friend in the world was thrown from the car and decapitated. The other girl was so severely injured that she was more or less a vegetable and paralyzed from the neck down. She lived about another decade unable to speak or move and then passed away in a home. My mom has been through the ringer in life, but this has always made her tell me to always follow my gut feeling. She said she never had a gut feeling when she was a teen, and this was the only time she ever did. She was looking forward to this trip for months, but that feeling was enough to make her back out right when she was boarding the train. My mom is so strong and I'm not sure why this happened, but I'm thankful for whatever power allowed my mom to be okay. I love my stepsister to pieces, but she is way too trusting with people she doesn't know well. About 10 years ago she was living with a couple of roommates who became her best friends. She would tell me stories about them over the phone. We lived in different cities, and I would just think, Jesus Christ, these girls are messes. She could hear the warningness in my voice after telling me stories about their troubled lives and how they're really good people who have just been through a lot. I didn't buy it. I can't think of all the stories because it's been too long, but they were all sketchy as hell. Cut to my stepsister inheriting 20k from a deceased relative. She was young and super excited about it, and I knew she probably didn't keep the new money a secret. About 1 fucking week later, one of her roommates calls her panicking, saying that this guy who she's been talking to online kidnapped her and was holding her for ransom. A 50k ransom, and she called my sister for the ransom, not her parents, her fucking roommate. She calls me freaking out because she didn't know what to do. I asked her if she had told her roommate about the money. Of course she did. Move out, sis. Get the fuck out. Those little girls who are really good people but have just been through a lot, yeah, they're liars. She reluctantly followed my advice and thankfully didn't try to make a deal with them. I told her to call the police. If I remember correctly, she didn't. Still worries me sometimes. I was walking home when suddenly I had this gut feeling. I will be mugged. I kept walking. When I got to the corner, two guys jumped me. Started delivering some punches, but man, I'm no Rocky. My shirt was devastated, my nose was bleeding, eyeglass flew like 3 meters away. Oh yeah, most importantly, got mugged anyway. At a party in college, two thoughts occurred at the same time. 1. Wow, there's a lot of people here. And 2. A lot of these girls look really young. Noped the fuck out. Found out later party was busted and people were in jail for a variety of things. Went to see fireworks one time. As I was watching, I got a bad feeling being as close as I was, and even wondered how many people have died from fireworks. Not even 30 seconds later, one of the lunch pipes for the fireworks tipped or something. All I remember were fireworks launching and exploding right in my direction, and one of the firework tails whizzing right past my head. than me running away like mad.